In the last episode of Death by Bunjie, we talked about how to choose a crossbow. That's what we're talking about here this first week of Crossbow Appreciation Month. Basically talked about, let's make a list of the things that you're looking for in a crossbow. That way you eliminate most of the crossbows out there. You pick what's important to you, and then you've got a select few that you can go try. In this episode, I'm going to tell you what my list is, right? So we can talk about that. And I want to hear your feedback about it. Maybe it gets you thinking about some of the things that you're thinking about as far as a crossbow is concerned. Maybe it challenges some of those things. And maybe some of your comments will challenge what I'm thinking about a crossbow. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe it'll modify. Maybe it'll help improve some of the things that I'm looking for in a crossbow. My list isn't going to be a real big surprise. I don't think a lot of you guys watching Death by Bunjie are already familiar with the things that I find very, very important. What is something that I really, really value as far as crossbows are concerned? Something that I've said over and over now for years and years and years, for more than a decade, that I will not hunt without. The Burt Coyote Lumenok. I really, really like the Burt Coyote Lumenok. I love the company. I've had a good relationship with them, speaking with them on the telephone, that sort of thing. And they've helped me out of a couple of jams here and there with equipment that I had problems with, basically at my own hand, basically my own fault. I understand that, I get it. But they're also just a good company, a good group of people who have made a really good, simple, easy to use product, and I love it. I love the Burt Coyote Lumenok. I started with it in the Excalibur days when I started with Bunjie, right? The original Bunjie, hunting with those things. That was my first lighted nock, and I have just been in love with them ever since. I use them on the Killer Instinct SWAT. I use the GTC version on the SWATs. It was one of the reasons I looked at the Ravin R29X. I've used some other nocks, just not my thing, right? So I really like the simplicity of it, and it's just something that's always performed for me, so there's no reason to change that. So that is number one on my list, the Burt Coyote Lumenok. I'll throw this out there again. I am not sponsored by Burt Coyote Lumenok, by that company, but I like them so much, and they've helped me out, and they've also helped all of you, friends of Bunjie, out, and me, because every time I buy lighted nocks, I use coupon code Bunjie to get 15% off that product and stuff on your website. So go on there, you can, at any time, you don't have to wait for a sale, you can go on there anytime and just get 15% off your order right off their website. There's a nock selector tool on there. It's so easy to use. You put in the arrow that you're using, and it'll help you pick out the right one. And I can tell you this, if you have questions about what nock to use, it's very important that we're using the right nocks in this modern era of crossbow hunting. So if you have questions about that, call them, right? Hit them up. They're more than happy to talk to you about their product. They're just a great company. This crossbow right here, the Hybrid-X, the Hydra, as I call it, from Excalibur, the new offering from Excalibur. I really, really like this crossbow. I like the size. I like the fit and feel. I like how it works with my scope and my Gotta Grip cheek pad. Internal crank. Man, that's sweet. I like the energy that it produces. This thing throws a 450 grain arrow downrange in a 60-yard backyard at 415 feet per second, right? 0.8 slugs of momentum or so, more than enough to kill anything that walks in North America. I love this crossbow, but it doesn't have lighted nocks available. So I'm not going to be hunting with it. It's not even as much fun to shoot because I don't have lighted nocks. That is an issue for me. It is really a deal breaker. So this one, I'm going to hold on to it until next year, because hopefully we'll have lighted nocks next year for the Hydra. Get yourself some Burt Coyote Lumenoks today and tell them that Bunjie sent you. Number two on my list, okay? Over the years, I was insistent on having a rope cocker, right? I like rope cockers. It's quick. I just throw the rope on there, cock it, put the rope in my pocket, right? And Bunjie and I are ready to go. I did that for more than a decade as my main crossbow, right? Now, you're moving on to more modern speeds. That's an antique speed. It's an antique crossbow practically, really. 16 years old, but it's still effective in this day and age. Killing bears, right? Killed a bear in Manitoba, can't ask for more than that. But going forward with modern speeds, it gets a little tough on your back, to cock the crossbows in the backyard. Oh my gosh. Not such a big fan of Genevieve's external cranks where you got to put it on there and run the strings down and crank. I'm really not a fan of that, but I am a fan of an internal crank that works well. The ones on that Excalibur, the ones on the Ravens, stuff like that, the 10 points I've seen, I really am a fan of those. On that note, that internal crank better allow me to decock the crossbow. It's 2025, right? You know, even the rope cocking ones. We have a sled cocker from Killer Instinct now, very similar to the missions, where you can just pull back on it and it decocks. And when it's in decock mode, it becomes kind of a pain to carry an extra arrow to shoot a decocking arrow, or to carry the field point and shoot at a target, that sort of thing. It's kind of a pain. It's kind of a pain. It's an unnecessary pain. It's an unnecessary thing to have to do when you can just, you know, decock it, right? I never had to carry an extra arrow or a target with Bunjie. I just decock Bunjie, right? It's not progress to go from that to needing extra gear. Progress is defined by less gear, right? Better results with less gear. Smaller, faster, lighter, denser, and cheaper. Come on. And on that note, smaller. I am a fan of smaller crossbows. I really do like ones that aren't giant, like Bunjie. That's an obnoxious thing to sit in a tree stand with after having sat in a tree stand with a SWAT X1. The SWAT X1 is very petite in comparison to that. It doesn't take up a lot of room. It's much more maneuverable from side to side. It doesn't obstruct the camera view. When I shot that second chance buck right there with Bunjie, right? That guy pretty much obstructed the view of me shooting that deer because the limbs are so big. It was a fantastic hunt. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is one of the most memorable things. Every time I walk in here and see that deer, I think back to that day and back to that video.
This right here is the greatest crossbow of all time.
Just a great video. Go watch it. Wouldn't change it for the world, but I'd like to have a better camera view and not have the issues with giant limbs. Well, that completes my list of the things I find very important in selecting a crossbow. And yeah, I'm always looking for a new crossbow, right? As long as it's an improvement on my existing gear. Tomorrow's video, though, there's one more thing about selecting a new crossbow that I want to share with you. So please tune into tomorrow's Crossbow Appreciation Month video, because we're going to talk about that one more thing that a lot of people don't think about, right? And that you may not realize until that video. All hail Bunjie.